We have new information for you this morning on the fiscal cliff debate, and we're getting it to you from one of the decision makers. Congresswoman Ann Marie Buerkle joins us by phone live from Washington. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning, Laura. Thanks for having me.
Now, do you expect there will be a vote today?
Well, I don't know if it will be today, although we have to be in Washington by 6:30 for votes, but I don't think there's anything on the table quite yet. We're expecting and hoping that something legitimate will come to the House from the Senate.
Do you think there will actually be a vote? Because we have heard that Mr. Boehner has said no vote until the votes are all lined up on your side.
Well, it's hard to guess unless we see what the Senate sends over. In August, we sent over to the Senate a bill that would have extended all of the current tax rates for a year. And we really hoped that that would have put all of this to rest way back in August to avoid all this, all this concern and this angst that the uncertainty is causing. But the Senate didn't act on it, and they haven't acted on a budget, and they didn't act on this bill. And so that's why we're now to the very late date of December 30th and waiting to see what the Senate's going to do.
So you're saying that it could perhaps go as far as New Year's Eve, which would technically be your last day in office, right?
That's correct. Well, we're actually in until Wednesday. The new House is sworn and the new Congress is sworn in on Thursday. So we're in until Wednesday, the 112th Congress. And then the new Congress takes over on Thursday. But I don't know. I think that I'm hopeful that the Senate will send something over that makes sense for this country, and we'll have the opportunity to vote on it. The other possibility is that there may not be an agreement reached, and then what happens is things just become, they'll act after the new Congress is sworn in, and they'll make something retroactive to avoid the fiscal cliff, to avoid all of the tax rates going up.
So are you fairly confident that we, as your constituents, will not see these drastic changes in our taxes?
I am hopeful, and I think that Congress and hopefully the Senate, to be honest, has not done its job. They haven't passed a budget. They haven't taken up so many of the jobs bills we sent over, and they failed to act on this extension of all of these tax rates that we sent over in August. I'm hopeful, and I have heard, that they are working diligently to send something back to us that will prevent all of these tax rates going up. And I think, Laura, that's the right thing to do for this country, not to raise taxes on the American people. What we have in this country is a spending problem, and unless we get the spending under control, we can't continue to raise taxes on the American people. We've got to stop spending money we don't have and become responsible, and I think that's what this country deserves, some fiscal sanity.
So do you draw the line, you personally in your voting, will you draw the line at not raising taxes for upper income people?
I think that just as they did 2 years ago, and this exact situation occurred in 2010 before I was sworn in, that taxes were on the verge, the same things. The tax rates were going to expire, and everyone's taxes were going to go up. And at that time in 2010, the Democratic House and the President both said, look, we can't raise taxes on anyone when the economy is so weak. And this economy has not gotten stronger. And I think it's a mistake to raise taxes on anyone. Now, the caveat to that is if we did raise taxes and we said, okay, we're going to take those increased revenues, which, by the way, aren't really going to touch the debt that we have in this country, but we will take those increased revenues and we'll pay down the debt. That's a very different scenario than what they're talking about now. What they're talking about now is raising taxes and then spending more money as a government. And that only compounds the problem that we have. It only increases the size of government. It only increases the cost of government. And then we're going to just be in a vicious circle. Raise taxes, grow government. Raise taxes, grow government. And that's not what this country needs. Unfortunately, right now we're in a precarious situation with $16 trillion in debt, plus liabilities that are somewhere around $60 trillion, with Medicare, with Social Security, with Medicaid, making sure those folks who paid into Medicare and Social Security are able to get the services that they deserve and they've paid for. And so that debt is staggering, and we have to address it. We cannot just continue kicking the can down the road.
Okay, Congresswoman, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We'll be watching this evening and perhaps tomorrow and the day after.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Laura, and Happy New Year's to you and to all of your listeners.
And thank you for your service also.
Thank you very much.